Tilu Tajpuria, eka Sunil Man, was murdered in Tihar jail while in custody. He was kicked, he was stabbed, he was punched, and he was put to death by the inmates of Tihar jail. Now, who is Tilu Tajpuria? Tilu Tajpuria is a 33-year-old man who stayed in a place called Tajpur Kalan in the outskirts of Delhi, and he was in Tihar jail under very strict security. Why was he in Tihar jail? He was in Tihar jail because he was an accused in the Rohini court shootout, wherein he shot gangster Jitendra Gogi. See the irony. This Tilu Tajpuria, he shot another gangster in the court premises, in the temple of justice. He shot another person. And he was killed in a jail. The question is, where is our justice system heading to? Because when he was first when the people came, and you can see that in the video, though a lot of it is mobbed, when these goons came and got into his cell and started hitting him, stabbing him, kicking him, and getting him, he was almost in pool of blood. And then the cops actually took him out, and in front of the cops, because he was not dead, and these gangsters knew that he was not dead, in front of these cops, they beat him and killed him. Now, 3 questions I want to ask. First of all, the cops know that there is CCTV all over. And the cops know that everybody is going to see that these guys bought him out and they came right in front of the cops and beat him to death. The cops know that they may get into trouble, but they were not scared. The convicts, the gangsters, knew that they were in full eye of all the CCTVs around, and they beat him to pulp. They stabbed him, kicked him like I told you, and had no fear of consequences, no fear of law. The cops had no fear of law. The gangsters had no fear of law. And this gangster who was killed also had no fear of law, because he went in and shot inside a courthouse. Now, a lot of people speak about jail reforms. A lot of people have also spoken, including, I think, Ms. Kiran Bedi had spoken about jail reforms. Tihar jail has to be reformed. A lot of jails has to be reformed per se. There has to be more systems put into place where such incident doesn't happen. See, all this is fine. All this is fine. And I am not too much of a believer in all this. I'll tell you why. Of course, jail reforms should be there. I believe in jail reforms. But the fact is, not under these circumstances. You see, you first need to have political reforms. Reforms the politician first. And then you will gradually see that all of this will slowly but steadily improve. I will tell you what I mean by that. It is the same politicians who makes those cops do what they want those cops to do, purely because their increment, their promotions, their transfers are in their hand. So this politician make these cops do what they want them to do. The cops almost become slave of politician. The cops don't report to you. The cops has got nothing to do you. What they are bothered about more is their politician and keeping their politicians happy. So till such time that they are keeping their politicians happy, they are not bothered. They are not bothered. They are okay, because their godfather will save them. And that is why with all the CCTV cameras, they didn't really care, did they? And they are not going to care in the future also, no matter how much ever reforms you bring about. And as far as gangsters are concerned, and who do you think these gangsters have support of? Who do you think supports these gangsters? Do you think a gangster can grow to be big without political support? And the politician needs those gangsters because they use them when they have to fight elections. So the first reform that India needs is of politicians. India needs political reforms. Let's first address that. Then let us talk about all the other reforms that follows. Then they'll have a meaning to it. And you know what's the irony? The irony is that there's a gangster called Sitinder Singh Brar, or he called Goldie Brar. This Goldie Brar sits in Canada, and he took responsibility for that killing. He said, I did it. You see, look at the lack of fear The lack of reverence for Indian judicial system, that saddens me. That really saddens me. Absolutely no reverence for Indian judicial system. Guy sitting in Canada saying that, listen, you know what? This guy should have been picked up from there and brought here. Our government should have the guts to do that and the will to do that. So that next time nobody sits outside our country and says that, "Arey yaar, hum kuch bhi karne dega country mein. Kuch nahi hota hai." This is what he's saying, isn't it? Look at what he's mocking us. He's mocking our country. So that's what I wanted to tell you tonight. Until I see you in my next report, take care.